All right, happy Saturday night, everybody. It is OC Steve coming at you. This time with some geek news. Going on today, even still afterwards, is DC Fandome. Seems like everybody has domes and bubbles on the minds as these false senses of security, but DC pretty much took all the fan content that they had in store for Comic-Con and probably a little remnants and bits left over from the DC streaming service, packaged it all together today for 24 hours of DC fan-related content. So they're going to break this up into 2 weekends. This weekend, today, Saturday, was all about mostly the major heavy-hitting content, which was in the worlds of film, video games, and cartoons. It seems like and a little sprinklings of TV. Majority of the TV-related stuff, so the CW Berlanti universe is going to be in 2 weeks' time. I think that's September 12th and 13th, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where they're going to focus more on the CW-related TV content, whether that's Supergirl, Batwoman, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Black Lightning, and etc. will be featured over there, probably with a couple of the survivors of the DC Universe content that will be on HBO Max, like the Doom Patrol. There was a couple features here and there for Titans. So overall, it was just like a giant smorgasbord of content. There was some good and some bad. The good that I took away from is what's neat for Season 3 in Titans, they announced it during their panel, is the actor who plays Jason Todd will be becoming the Red Hood. His more kind of anti-hero persona will be present in Season 3 of Titans. We got little trinklings of the name for the second Shazam film. It was very tongue-in-cheek with the cast members. There was an appearance by Sinbad, the comedian, in it, so I don't know what that's going to end up panning out and who he's going to play. The Suicide Squad panel was a lot of fun, seeing all the people that are going to portray the different characters. You are pretty much guaranteed with such a huge roster. My personal opinion is almost about 75% of those actors are probably going to be killed in the opening scene of the movie, leaving us with a lot of the original members of the Suicide Squad movie from the first one, like Margot Robbie's character, the Flag character played by Joel Kinnaman in the first one. I would more than likely assume that they will survive throughout the course of the movie, but it also had a bunch of James Gunn's regular friends. So Sean Gunn will be playing kind of a weird motion capture character called Weasel. You're going to have Michael Rooker in there as the Savant, and Nathan Fillion's going to be a character in there too. So there's a bunch of his friends that he has gotten work along the way that are going to be a part of that ensemble. Flula Borg was hilarious. He's going to be playing a character called Javelin, but his interactions with the entire team and games, I enjoyed that panel a lot. Some other video game related news. We saw a trailer for Gotham Knights, which is another game where you get to play as the other members of the Bat family. But the most interesting video game trailer that was dropped today was for the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. So these are from the creators of Rocksteady, the guys that made all the litany of Arkham Knight City games that came out in the last decade. This is their next game where you get to focus as Suicide Squad characters. And I just think it's spot on. I'm really hoping that it has a mature rating, but we won't be seeing that till 2022. So more than likely that will be on next generation consoles, your Xbox Series X and your PlayStation 5. And then the other little trailers that came along the way were for Wonder Woman 1984. This just kind of seems a little bit weird to me. The whole casting of Kirsten Wiig as Cheetah seems kind of off to begin with. And then, the big reveal, which I was hoping to wait to see in the movie, they showed in the second trailer, is her full transformation into kind of an anthropomorphic cheetah-like character, very similar to the comics, but it's just a real weird fit. It's a hard sell for me on that. And then lastly, I think most of the content, the major content that was hitting home today was the trailer for Matt Reeves' Batman. I don't know what to really make out of it. I mean, we've had so many Batmen and portrayals of Batman over just the last 10 years alone. It just seems a overabundance of Bat people. So his character just seems kind of weird. He's gone on, Robert Pattinson's gone on record that he doesn't want to train physically for the performance of being Batman, that he just wants to kind of show up, put on the suit, and be Batman, that he doesn't want to go through the rigorous physical routines that Christian Bale and Ben Affleck went through to physically transform into their versions of Batman, because they don't have powers in the DC universe, so you need to kind of be at the peak of physical fitness and conditioning in order to keep up with people like The Flash and Superman, but I guess Cedric Diggory doesn't want to perform in that light. So it's just, it kind of reminded me of kind of a gritty 1990s kind of feel of a film. I don't know if necessarily it's going to be set in the 90s, but the music they had was for Nirvana, and kind of shot for shot, color palette wise, throughout the trailer reminded me a lot of mid 90s kind of films like Seven, just kind of like that weird kind of mystery crime drama. So that, and then him as Batman, that the suit's kind of still a hard sell for me because of the fact that he doesn't really want to physically get into shape. They have to almost compensate for that with the suit. So it's a very extreme, hard upper body armor with kind of cargo pants on the bottom and some weird boots. So there's some scenes of him kind of really beating down a criminal, but I just can't really believe that he is being Batman for the second year and he's going to take on criminals and groups of criminals for that matter. Andy Serkis as Alfred will probably be great. He's a great actor, so he'll knock that out of the park. The physical transformation that Colin Farrell did, putting on that weight to become Penguin, it almost took me a double take to watch that trailer and realize that was him as Penguin. So, not total jury out yet. I'm not going to be judge, jury, and executioner, but I'm going to have to see more before I shell out my coin to go see that in movie theaters. So it was a lot of stuff, good, bad, in between, kind of just filler content too, where they were talking to probably ensemble members of other films like Aquaman, but not a lot of talk about the meat and potatoes of why everybody originally went to comic book conventions, which is comic books themselves. I think plenty of other channels have talked about the demise of the DC publishing division once AT&T became the major shareholder of Warner Brothers and respectively DC Comics. Just in the last month alone, we've seen the literal implosion of the DC streaming service and them taking those pieces and applying it to the HBO Max streaming service. So whoever survived that crisis on infinite media streaming sites went there. And moving forward, they're trying to placate the situation going on globally with the pandemic as the reason in the decline of the comic books, but a lot of other websites have covered it. You can see that, they've changed distributing lines, their lack of interaction of customer service and kind of, alienating lifelong fans who have followed these comics and characters for multi-decades, or in some ways, like even my family, multi-generations have just become disenfranchised with the status quo of comic books. Really become really polarizing with the writers putting their own personal views and agendas into the content, and that becoming the main focal point rather than telling interesting stories about characters and new ways to advance that narrative based on the decades that have come before them. So doing their homework to make Batman-related content rather than taking their own personal life experiences and throwing it against the Batman wall and seeing if it sticks. So that's been their decline in sales as of late, and AT&T's caught on to that. So you can tell throughout the course of Fandom that they were really trying to eliminate naming comic books in a comic book-related streaming service. They focused entirely on the media. So based on the writing on the wall, I really wouldn't be surprised if there was no real physical print publishing of comic books from DC Comic Books by the time that Comic-Con potentially happens next year. Who knows? That's to be foreseen, but that's just kind of me gazing into my crystal ball when it comes to the world of geek and pop culture. So that is DC Fandom for now. Let me know what you thought if you watched DC Fandom, how you felt. These are kind of weird, these virtual fan experiences, because they're all kind of pre-recorded. They're in the can. It doesn't really feel like I'm really interacting with other fans like this. Like I've enjoyed from years and almost decades now attending San Diego Comic-Con. So let me know what your thoughts are below. Let's keep the discussion going. I've appreciated all the support and participation when it comes to the wrestling content. I could see that some of my geek and pop culture content is kind of lacking, so that's why I wanted to put out this video. So I hope you enjoy your weekend. You get an opportunity to sit down, watch some old movies or geek stuff, or pick up a graphic novel, or if you're at a place where your comic book store's open, you can go to your shop and pick up your pull list, or just read something new and different that maybe, you know, since you have the time, you can take advantage of that. So as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video, and stay safe. Have a fun Saturday night.